Thank you so much to the Equalize program for this amazing opportunity, to Dr. Elaine Ham, our mentor. She has been tremendous in helping us in the past few months. And of course, my partners, Dr. Darren Everslaus in the Biomaterials Department and Dr. Hassan Al-Muazzin in the College of Pharmaceutical Sciences. My name is Mojdeh Dehghan. I'm a dentist with over 25 years of private practice experience and currently a professor of restorative dentistry and associate dean of students and faculty at the University of Tennessee College of Dentistry. The idea of our technology came about as I treated so many patients with moderate to severe dental erosion in my practice. And as a clinician, I felt very helpless because there was no real solutions or products out in the market. My son was also born with acid reflux, and as a mom, I was always looking for natural products and foods that would bring him relief. Early on in my practice, I realized that not only is there not too many products out there addressing erosion, but most of the dental products actually accelerated enamel wear. So beginning in 2014, I worked hard to bring awareness to our profession by educating our dental students, practicing dentists, and patients by means of lectures, presentations, and publications. In 2016, I was asked by the Academy of General Dentistry to serve on a task force to help develop guidelines for identifying and clinically treating dental erosion. And that's when I came to the realization that instead of telling my patients about 10 different products they need to carry in their purse, I need to help develop something that's so easy to use and affordable that everybody can benefit from. So when it comes to dental erosion, one thing to remember is that it starts to happen within seconds of exposure to acid. Approximately 260 million Americans have some sort of dental erosion. And erosion results when the tooth surface starts to soften, and as the acid remains in the oral cavity, the enamel wear starts to accelerate. The symptoms can be rapid tooth loss, pain and sensitivity, or complete loss of dentition. So you can go from needing a crown or a veneer to needing partial dentures, and in worst cases, a full denture. So it's a very extensive full mouth rehabilitation treatment by a dentist. It's expensive and it's life-changing for the patients. There are numerous causes, the most common cause being consumption of acidic foods and beverages, which we're bombarded with every day, especially the healthy things, the juices, kombucha has become really popular in the millennials. Those things are the ones that have the lowest amount of pH. And the thing to remember is that when tooth enamel is gone, it's gone forever. It's not going to, duplicate itself. So that's why it becomes so important to try to minimize erosion early on, identify these patients, and try to control it. So if you came to my office today, I would recommend MI-PACE, which is the golden standard in our profession. But here's the problem. You'd need a dental appointment, you'd need an impression, you'd need a prescription for the MI-PACE, and that's not something that's readily available to folks. Also, all the toothpaste that are in the market and claiming to be anti-erosive, brushing is contraindicated for patients who've had an acidic episode. So that's out of the question. The mouthwashes are not really discreet. You can't have them readily available. And the dental lozenges in the market have a low pH themselves. So what do? They accelerate dental erosion. Our solution is Nutrimel. With fluoride being regulated by the FDA, sourcing from a natural matcha resource allows us for over-the-counter designation. Nutrimel is a 2-layered lozenge formulation. The first layer contains arginine, which is an acid-neutralizing amino acid that brings the pH back to a safe level. And the second layer, the inner core, consists of a unique combination of matcha fluoride, calcium phosphate, and other ingredients to support the remineralization. So what it does is it treats the existing erosion. Nutrimel improves the overall health of the oral cavity by increasing salivary flow and having an antibacterial effect. If you look at this little graph, and this was surprising to us because this was an evolutionary process of getting to where we're using matcha in our inner core. Matcha core proved to be actually a lot more effective than MI-PACE, which is our golden standard, in rehardening the tooth structure. So we've done several other studies when it comes to matcha, because it's kind of a new thing in our field. Not too many people talk about prescribing something with matcha to their patients. Our most recent study showed that matcha powder actually decreases the streptococcal viability by 60%. And guess what? That's the bacteria that causes the majority of dental caries and periodontal disease. We were able to publish that in the Journal of Dental Research. Our other study showed that matcha powder had the highest amount of fluoride compared to any other commercially available tea. We also published the results of this study in the Journal of Academy of General Dentistry. When it comes to safety, that's a core. That was always very important to me, to be able to recommend this to children, to adults, to everybody, and feel safe about it. We did multiple clinical studies that showed that this is quite safe for all patients. One of our clinical studies actually showed when you rinse with lemon juice or any drinks or any acidic episodes, what happens is your pH goes from a baseline of about 6.2 to 4.4. With Nutrimel, you're able to take it back to a baseline pH of 6.6, whereas in a normal patient, a healthy patient, it takes them 20 to 30 minutes to create that same result. And basically, we did some taste tests also that showed patients were actually very excited about this technology. So the main features of the attributes of Nutrimel that we're very proud of is that it's clinically effective. The patented technology simulates salivary flow, enhances acid neutralization, and there's a reason for that two-layer formulation and technology because of the sequential action of ingredients and their local availability. The lozenges dissolve gradually, which extends the active ingredients and eliminates the need to brush, which is actually going to further exacerbate the problem. It's all natural, so very safe to use with children and adults, consumer friendly because it's a lot more discreet. You can stick it in your purse or your pocket. And lastly, it actually really tastes good. We had about 50 participants for a taste study, and they reported that this was actually very sweet, not bitter, smooth texture, and the majority of our participants reported a 5 out of 5 for taste, which means really good. And in dentistry, when you're asking people to do something or ingest them or take them, it's got to taste good. Otherwise, the compliance is not going to be there. So when it comes to consumer types, our initial customers will include dental professionals, dentists, dental hygienists, dental assistants, and patients. And we actually surveyed both these populations. And 100% of dentists that we surveyed said that if this was available in the market, they would be willing to use it. And 97% of our patients said if this was available in the market, they would use it. When it comes to acquisition, we have identified two types of potential acquirers: the large oral hygiene companies like Colgate and Procter & Gamble, which actually that's the company that funded our initial clinical studies with bulimic patients. And also food and beverage companies that have really shown a lot of interest in our product. So what is our go-to strategy? At this point, we want to determine possible product market fit via additional surveys. And our goal is to transition from a bench scale, which is where we are now, to a larger manufacturing process. We want to produce our sample batches for additional customer feedback, and then have a more accurate cost of goods estimation and work on product stability and packaging. And we want to also start a small scale distribution to generate revenue. Also complete any requested studies from potential acquirers, and ultimately to license the product to the right person. The development timeline for Nutrimel is to continue to gauge interest and refine target customers, and really focus on manufacturing, transfer the process of development to a company. We're in discussions with Earth Wellness right now they have the technology to actually produce and manufacture in large scale our 2-layer lozenge. So we want to also evaluate stability and work on packaging. So our current needs basically are to complete agreement with Earth Wellness, determine cost of manufacturing, and work with our technology transfer office to try to determine, do we really want to do a startup, or do we want to license this out to begin with? So our ask from our wonderful audience today is to help us in introductions to larger companies, oral care, candy, wellness companies, and also help us identify sources of capital based on this information. In summary, we know that dental erosion is a worldwide problem affecting over 260 million. We know there's a void in the market, and the global dental care market is huge. It's a 99.7 billion industry. And our team of dentists, dental material scientists, and pharmacologists are well respected in the industry, and we've been able to secure 2 United States patents, 1 pending, multiple clinical studies, and we've finalized and come to a very easy way of manufacturing this large scale. So the benefits of Nutrimel, again, are that it's naturally sourced, patented, proven to be effective, safe for all ages, accessible, and also very importantly, cost effective. So we can really take this to, a larger patient population. And it's poised to provide the needed help for millions that need it and meet the growing market demand. Thank you all so much. I appreciate your time.